Okay.
Yep.
Something clearly happened in the rendering of that video from Express. I apologize to everyone who was here from the very beginning.
Yep. Well, hello everyone. It's Thursday, and it's the Thursday after Summit. So we've got lots to talk about, and glad to see all of you here. And I think it's fair that we start with a quick round of introduction. Number one is the man who's typically behind the curtain, but you're seeing him right here. Ron, please let everyone know who you are. Okay, so this seems to be working perfectly.
Yeah.
Ron, we cannot hear you anymore.
I know, because I muted. I'm having audio issues, but all good. All good. So yes, Ron Nagy, I'm here, and I hope you can hear me. Yes?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. Yeah. So, yeah, Ron Nagy, I did labs at Summit, and I'm here to talk to you about labs, and delightful.
Perfect. Let's put labs on the agenda.
Exactly.
Well, number two is my long-term co-host, Dominic. Great to see you.
Great to be here.
You don't need an introduction, but if you want one, time is yours.
No, it's okay. We just need a lot of visitors. I hope there are more attendees coming.
Excellent.
But let's go on.
Then my more recent co-conspirator, Carl, please introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you. I'm Carl Pauls. I'm working as a computer scientist in AEM, and I've been to Summit for a lab on the experience modernization agent in general website migrations, either with experience modernization agent or what we also introduced as a quick version was a version based on Slick, which is maybe what you meant with Conspire. So maybe something more later.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And Carl, if I remember,
right now I'm only seeing you on and Dominic. That's normal.
That's fine. We're all on, but it could be some weirdness, but it's all good, David.
Okay. Yeah. Carl, and if I remember correctly, we haven't had you on the Thursday frequency since the days of Discord. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah, DA was kind of the last couple of sessions that I took part in.
Well, it's about time. Next up, Jill. Great to see you.
Yeah, hey. I think I've been there a few times. Last time I talked about how you can create your own playground on our aem.now. I'm going to show you what we did during Summit Labs with our experience production agent and friends, and also how you can actually, that playground, if you still have it, if not, just recreate one, you will be able to access the entire lab content after this meeting.
Perfect. And next up is the person who is broadcasting from the nicest looking London Underground station in the world. Exactly. Hey, good to see you.
Thanks, Lars. Yeah, my name's Darren. I helped create the AEM Rockstar 11 years ago, but the last summit was the 10th iteration of it. So yeah, I'm here to recap the goodness that was AEM Rockstar.
Perfect. We're going to talk about that. And next up is Marcus, a surprise guest, but great to see you, Marcus.
Hey, yeah, thank you for having me again. I mean, I was here before, but I mean, in my old role, talk about coursework, which I probably did not mention now anymore, but happy to show you what you guys did on Summit for the vibe coding and the A part. Perfect.
Looking forward to it. And then, last but not least, David, we can see you and you are live. Please introduce yourself.
Maybe me?
Yeah, that's you.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. So yeah, David here, AEM developer for close to 15 years now. Lately, been working on everything around the AI and migration at large, and I was assisting Carl's labs during the summit, the one where we showed the experience modernization agent and the Slick extension.
Yeah,
Okay.
David was very busy during Summit. Every lab room I walked into, I thought David was in it, but maybe not. I don't know.
Oh.
Okay. Well, Jill, why don't we start with you? What was your Summit highlight? We're getting more people.
We have the Brady Bunch now, so I'm happy.
Yes.
We have the full 9, and yes. I'm delighted. So
we are well. Jill, you have a couple more minutes to think about your answer, because we need Chris to introduce himself, despite being quite a regular here on this show. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. If you don't know me, my name's Chris Millar, architect working on DA.live, and maybe a little bit of Snowflake, Stardust, Slick. There's a lot of fun stuff to talk about in that world.
Yeah.
If it starts with an S, maybe I'm involved. We'll see.
Okay. I'm just getting a notification that we have a Helix on-call incident. Darren, is that yours? Okay, well, good luck, have fun. Let me know if you need me. So, okay, well, well, Darren is handling the on-call incident, and we hope it's nothing bad. We will know that it's something bad when he turns the camera off and starts cursing. But Jill, let's come back to the question. What was your Summit highlight?
So I think it's been my 6th time at Summit and 4th time as a lab presenter. So that's definitely something I appreciate, like preparing all that content, being able to run through this with so many people. Was glad that we had 2 sessions almost full about the experience production agent, and like seeing the interest of people, the feedback, whether it's like right after the lab or in the hallway discussions, customer meetings, and so on, seeing how people are willing to rethink their workflows and integrate our agentic capabilities, our MCPs, and so on, to also gain an efficiency in while keeping somehow like the governance on what is done by the agent, what is going live. I think I have the feeling we have momentum with all of this. So I also discovered tons of new use cases that people would want us to solve. So I'm really looking forward to post-summit, a year from now. And I already had a couple of meetings this week with customers, like, okay, how can we work together? How can we help you solving those use cases and making sure that you get maximum out of AEM and its new agentic capabilities.
Okay, excellent. And I'm hearing a very clacky keyboard in the background, and
I've taken care of it.
Excellent. I was about to make an educated guess who to blame, but I see Dominic is keeping very quiet, so I'm not going to raise the issue any further.
Exactly.
So for me, one of the highlights of Summit is obviously the ability to talk to so many people, right? And talk to them in a very live and high intensity session. So I'm just wondering how we do this, and you know what?
Here, let me jump in. Let me jump in, Lars. Okay, so at Summit this year was super interesting for a number of reasons. I mean, certainly agentic was everywhere, and everything was agentic. So we'll actually talk a little bit about that, certainly with Carl and Gilles talking about what they did, what Marcus and Chris did. Marcus and Chris, I just want to point out, we don't Summit Labs are an amazing way for people to get hands-on with Adobe products that they don't own or might not otherwise have a way to get access to that. And certainly Gilles and others are going to talk about ways that you can still keep that, I basically get hands-on with the products before you own them. But the really interesting part about labs is you not only get to use our products and use them in a scenario that hopefully is something that you can take with you and learn from in your own daily life. It opens up, hopefully there's a number of aha moments of, hey, I didn't know I could do that. That is amazing. But this year we built all of the lab workbooks using our very own AEM document author. So our beloved DA that Chris and I partnered on to bring that site to life. We had 39 or 40 labs. All of them used here, I'm going to cover this. Oh, hey, that pushes it up. Great. So if you just go to adobelabs.dev, you will have access to the brilliant workbooks that we went through that are available to anyone. And as Gilles will show today, he has actually modified he's contributed to the site to make it useful, not just for the time that people were using it at Summit, but also going forward for folks to take and run with. But I do want to highlight that, if you didn't go to Summit this year, that definitely next year, labs are going to be bigger and better. So by all means, it's something that we don't put on, we don't actually record them at all. So there's no recording. So it's unfortunate that you missed Marcus and Chris doing the conversation that they had at the beginning of their lab, which was spectacular about, I don't know, Marcus, you want to give a recap of this? It was perfect stage play.
I'm glad you liked it, and I think a few people, as we had a few laughs in the audience. Yeah. So for the other, so we used our intro as a little role play. I jumped into the role of a virtual customer, and Chris was our, let's say, Adobe salesperson, selling me all the capabilities we have in Edge Delivery and we have in DA. And I think that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think part of it is like, we hear we pay attention, right? So there's probably not a day that goes by that we hear Edge Delivery can't XYZ. And so we wanted to highlight that A, we hear you, and B, you're wrong. Like Edge Delivery can do anything. But yeah, it was super fun, and also to highlight that, if you're a little bit entrepreneurial and you aren't afraid to, you don't have to know how to write code. If you can prompt, you can build really great hyper focused authoring experiences. So it was fun.
Yeah, it was super great. I loved the Marcus going, you can't absolutely do that, right? And then Chris going, actually, let me sit down and actually show you how this works. And here, you want to do something that's headless? Let's do something that's headless. Here you go. And you want to do some? Yeah, it was actually brilliant. So I hope that you guys record that and we do that maybe in another frequency or something.
Not sure if we can record it. I think, Chris, we can absolutely say this was absolutely not scripted at all.
Yeah, almost a little too unscripted.
As the best moments are.
And they have the badge, right? That's what makes it great.
So good. And then the core of your lab was vibe coding front ends for DA, for document author, right?
Yeah.
And how did that go?
I mean, it went flawless. I don't
yeah.
no. I mean, do you know us? We
No.
we do nothing wrong. I don't know what. No, I thought it was great. You know, Marcus came up with these prompts and refined them over time, and I think we walked through a lot of the real world. You know, this is 100% possible, but I think everybody kind of had a good. I think the audience had a good sample size of like, oh, I ran into this little thing because I may not have selected the right model, and like walking through those things was pretty good.
I agree. I mean, we prepared the prompt as much as we could. And in the try one, they worked, I would say, for me, in 8 out of 10 times the prompts worked just end-to-end pass through without an issue. And I was even, okay, maybe this is too boring, because if you just have a one-shot prompt and then you're done with the lab, this is not so interesting. But luckily, it also failed for a few people in the audience, or they had struggle and they had questions. So it was really pretty interactive. And I think also our TAs had a lot of steps on their Apple Watch or whatever at the end of the lab, because they had to run through the audience.
Yeah, it was good. Raf enjoyed the step-by-step in YOLO, because you had two different approaches,
Yeah.
right? You could just, you know, go the methodical route, or you could just YOLO and single prompt it and go. But yeah, you can. The workbook is available again at adobelabs.dev. Take a look at that, and super cool.
I think one thing for the audience, we're starting to. I'm certainly starting to see this a lot, which is like you can turn these things into skills, and then you can make them a lot more repeatable. So you can make it more deterministic. And so you can kind of bridge that world where, you know, you can use a skill to, and a lot of times, like if you're iterating with Claude to try and figure out like how you can be successful, you can say like, hey, please keep a journal because I want to turn this into a skill later, and hand it off. And so like if you are sort of the lead, you might be able to hand off a skill to somebody who's maybe a little less technical, and then they're already sort of standing on your shoulders and the work you've already done. So don't forget to turn these things into skills so your colleagues can also use them.
Yep.
That's
So even one tip, so if you're using Claude Code, even if you're not keeping a journal, Claude Code keeps the session traces for about 30 days. So you can always go back, say, hey, Claude, look into your session traces in the home directory. There was one where we built this and that. Let's turn this into a skill. And that also works fantastic.
That's great. Okay, so and actually that was I ran the developer track this year as well, and one of my speakers had one of his he did a session on skills, MCP, and other areas of how to leverage AI, and he had a slide that said, the biggest tip for you today is turn your conversations into a skill. It's super easy to just say, hey, this conversation we've been having, can you create a skill for me? Yes, I can. Okay, so Carl, do you want to talk a little bit about your lab and the awesomeness that you had? It looks like the Slicy. How do you pronounce this, Lars?
Slicky.
Slicky,
Call it-
of course. I should know that. But I love that Slicky was part of the lab, but it now, you know, it was apparently the lab.
Yeah. It kind of had a sneaky appearance. It came out of nowhere. And yeah, I mean, that would have been my highlight of this summit. I mean, we had 2 repeats of the lab. So that was a lot of
3
well,
total. That's
3 total.
insane. That you,
Right.
I had never experienced any lab being so popular that there were 3 instances of it. And the first instance, the line was all the way down the hall of people trying to get into it. So yeah, kudos on putting together the content that people wanted.
Yeah, I hope that they all liked it, but really had good attendance and they stayed for the most part all until until the end. That was good for me because I'm always worried that people leave, but nobody wants to leave. So but that was a highlight because in the end, for us, at least for the migration or modernization agent, since it's somewhat heavyweight because it does so much things. We had to prepare this really thoroughly in the back end to be able to have that load, right? Because the problem, as always, is, I mean, if you not the real world situation where you have 100 people start the same prompt or the same task at the same time, right? This makes it peak quite a bit. And so for the way that our lab was structured, we actually came up with a good idea, I think, in the end, because it worked perfectly. We started, and again, right now the modernization agent is mostly about migrations, right? So the idea is you can migrate your website to AEM with minimal or at least variable interaction, just prompting for corrections, right? And but we started it with an already half done first page migration for the participants so that they could directly go to the part where they just make small changes. And then basically cycled back to the real story, how they would get there. And the part where we said how they would get there, we did with Slick or Slicky,
Slicky.
which worked out perfectly. We had, I don't know what the peak load was, but we had close to 4,000 requests per minute to our Bedrock endpoint at one time during the lab, and it did hold. So that was amazing. That was amazing, and I think everybody finished.
Yeah, and David, how were were folks pretty engaged throughout the session as a TA through all of that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it was my very first participation, so I don't have any prior data. But yeah, the audience was there, engaged, asking questions. So that was really, really great.
That's awesome. Outstanding.
And we did see in our data in the end that I think, what was it, David? There was close to 80% actually, no, 90% finished or 92% finished with all the assignments, but close to 80% really finished with a perfect result of the migration, so to speak.
Yeah.
So we went really close to what's achievable.
And another metric is that at some point, depending on the timing we had, we were engaging the people to try out any other URL. We had a URL it was not, scripted. The migration was going for real, but we had a prepared page we knew would go well and is not too big. But we were suggesting the people to go with their own URLs, and at the end, 55 URLs got migrated by people during the labs, and even after, because we kept this Adobe login open so people could continue to use it. So yeah, interesting.
And I think we still have lab participants playing with lab content.
Yes. So we are keeping an eye, obviously, on the usage, just to be sure it's not going bad. But people are still enjoying it.
It's probably
for the last couple of days. At any point of time, somebody is migrating something. It's a slow, but it's a steady trickle of migrations.
I think there's it's no secret that there's a huge carve out at Summit where there's a lot of aspirational stuff that we talk about, and it's actually on both sides. Customers are aspirational. Yeah, I want to get into A/B testing. This is the year I'm going to get into A/B testing, and we also do this. And if you were to look at like the labs that we did last year, or even just the content in general, like Experience Catalyst was like in this booth, and it was like, what is just barely possible? And I think it shows a lot of like you can really like compare last year's summit with Experience Catalyst, which was like, we're going to have this very like locked down little booth area, very controlled environment, because we were not quite sure how things would land. And then if you contrast that to this year, a lot of the investments that were just like, again, just barely possible last year, you see them land in much bigger ways. So you know, Experience Catalyst turned into Emma, or Experience Modernization Agent, and like now you all of a sudden 50 people in a room over, you know, three times, or I guess more, quite more, you know, using these tools, and it shows the maturity that and the pace at which we can innovate.
That's great.
And same for the extension. That last year was the sneak, Paolo sneak. Last year was the extension, and this year it was part of the lab.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting the people were actually able to get hands-on with it is fantastic. Okay, so I'm gonna skip over Gilles for his recap, and just let's go to rock stars for a minute, and then Gilles, have you show kind of what's possible, and basically do a screen share and show what you've done. But yeah, 10th anniversary, man. Like the line, you want to talk about lines? Like there was a line outside of Carl's lab, but there was an epic line outside of getting into Rockstars, because I ran up from I had labs that were going on, and so I ran up like, I won't just run in. I saw Felix sitting in the wait line, and some other people, and just these massive amount of people being pushed in. So tell us, how did Rockstars go? I mean, I stepped in for a few minutes during it, but
yeah, I mean, it's a tough spot to be in at Summits, like the last day, last session,
right?
Everybody always picks the sessions ahead of time and going, I'm definitely going to stay to the very last minute of Summit. And then there's people like, nah, I took my luggage to the luggage place. And anyway, yeah, it was nice to see a good turnout. And the sessions that Jillian and I chose for the participants this year were a good mix of kind of classic AEM and some more modern takes on things. And we also showed a video that kind of highlights the evolution from year one, that was like, data layers and stuff like that, all the way to like the edge delivery stuff, and now all the AI stuff, and how through 10 years we've seen things change so dramatically. And we had a few technical issues, like always, because it's a live session. So it's trying to be authentic, right? So if there weren't technical issues, it wouldn't be real. We would be just showing videos of people doing cool things. So it's a little real. And yeah, Raf, there's actual guitars in our first attempt at doing live music this year was the first session by TJ and his wife, Love. Mario did not play guitars in the second spot, but he did show a pretty cool integration with like Figma that goes through a whole process and ends up in code. And then really our winner, Lisa, has this amazing setup that she created that has all this automation, all this, cycles back on itself and does approvals and stuff. And she actually created a bunch of additions to the AEM boilerplate, Lars, which you find interesting, that she has yet to push up, but that match up some of the designs and blocks and stuff with what this Figma creator thing does. It's really interesting.
I'm thinking we should probably ask Lisa to join us on a selfie one day.
Absolutely.
And give a deep dive demo without the pressure of the Rockstar stage.
Sure. Yeah, and her presentation had all the elements, a full story, beginning, middle, end. Had animation in it too. So she had like, people running around. She had an evil villain and stuff like that. So it was really, really a good presentation. And whenever the recording comes out, I don't know when they come out, like a week or two from now.
Oh yeah, no, you should be able to see it now. So
is it on there already?
At least you should be able to get to the page. I didn't hit the watch button. Let me make sure the watch button is there. Give me a second.
So if it is there, great. Usually they bug me and want me to, verify a bunch of stuff, and they haven't done that yet. So I just
yeah. Okay, you're right. Yeah, there is no watch button. Yeah.
So that usually comes out in a week or two, and then we'll post that on the AM Rockstar site and should be good to go. But it's a good watch.
Right on. That sounds great. Okay, so Gilles, like, you want to show a little bit about what your lab was and what you went through?
Yeah, sure. So our lab was called the Agentic Revolution, rethinking production tasks in AEM, right? So as everyone knows today with AI, it is, or it should be, easy to create and update experiences, especially in AEM. That's the mission that we have with the Experience Production Agent. And that's what we wanted to give opportunity to our 150 plus lab attendees to play with. And so as Ron pointed out, right, we have the lab's website. I hope you guys can see my screen now. This is
here. Let me add it up. There we go.
Yeah. So this is the one that we've been running with Corey, my partner in crime here, and we had like a few scenarios prepared, like updating content on an AM page, creating a form, creating a new page, and as well as importing design from Figma. And because we know that there's always people who are looking for more, we also had a bonus exercise, which was how can you integrate those capabilities in your favorite MCP client like Claude or ChatGPT. And the good news is, and here, yeah, kudos again to the team for like having this whole setup with like being able to update the labs until the very last minute. Like, I think I published a change like 2 minutes before the session started because I noticed something was wrong. And in the past, we had to like produce those Word documents, printed copies, and so on. So that sounded insane. But then this time was so great to be able to work on it until the very last minute. And speaking about using AI, I used AI a lot to even produce the lab content, right? Like plugging the DA MCP to my Claude, asking for suggestions how I can make this whole lab workbook better. That was an amazing experience, and the whole setup was also great in terms of preparation work. I told you before, it was my first time as a lab speaker. In the past, I had to set up like a cloud service environment for each and every attendee with installing packages, private releases, and all those kind of things. This time, everyone was actually running on our aem.now playground, which also means what you can do today is if you go to how to access and set up, you can actually go to aem.now, sign up with your email address. You get an email like this a few minutes later with like your links to your website, etc. And then what I added since last week is the ability to configure the whole workbook to match with your content. So today I just created a new playground. I'm a quick giraffe today. And the only thing I need to do is, if you scroll down a bit here, there's this new configuration block. I'm pasting my content path. And if I go back here, you see that the workbook is now contextualized to that particular site. I have the zip file with all the files that I can download for the running the lab, and this is basically a few of the files, right? So not willing to go too deep into all the exercises, but we had some really cool stuff, like how you can like update pages based on an annotated PDF document, or this idea that, oh, we had a brainstorming meeting, we sketched on a whiteboard how a form should look like, and then we just pass this over to the agent, and it's able to integrate the like create the form out of this screenshot, or also like taking a Word document as a brief and creating a brand new page out of this brief, and finally the Figma design. So this one I can quickly show. This one resonated really well, like the ability to take a design element from a Figma file and with a single prompt import from Figma design, have this imported as a reusable contour fragment, and have the template imported, and being able to include this in an edge delivery page in a matter of 2-3 minutes. So yeah, overall, I think we had good stuff here, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing people go through the sort of exercise, running them on their own, and yeah, hopefully we are getting a lot of feedback, again, new use cases, and yeah, looking forward to working with customers and on this co-innovation track.
It's great. Thank you so much, Gilles. It's great for you to have, contributed that little pop-up that asks you, to put in that where your playground actually is, so that it can contextualize the workbook for you. One of the things we did this year at Summit, which again is delightful and super practical that we used AEM for this, was we created these variables for the seat the person was in. So you didn't have to tell somebody, oh, you're in seat 32, you should replace this with seat 32. It was just all in the workbook. So it flowed. So basically Gilles taking that variable idea and then extending it out to real life. We do have one question from Raf, Gilles. He's got a playground from several months ago. Do they need to request a new one, or can they use what they've done?
I think we've done a bit of cleanup before Summit, because typically those playgrounds are available for 30 days. We're not always that strict on removing them, but I know definitely that before Summit we did a bit of cleanup. But yeah, it's really like a 2 minutes setup to request a new one.
Right. So the answer is create a new one. You get the new features. Throw the old one away. We won't mind.
Yeah, if we haven't done it yet.
If we haven't done it for you.
So, okay, yeah. So, Raf, the bad news might be your playground from several months ago might not be there anymore. I think that's what Gilles didn't want to tell you in person. So,
Exactly. Okay, and then Carl, did you have anything you wanted to show about any of the things that you went over? Is there anything that folks can leverage today? And I know we've got Lars, you're doing a whole frequency next time on Slicky, right? So yeah. Go ahead, Carl. Sorry.
Sure. I mean, I think I'll be in that next episode as well.
Okay.
So I'll be coming back with this topic too, but I maybe you can make it a sneak appearance here. So yeah, I can try to show a little bit if I can find out how to share my screen here. That I never.
Okay. Yeah. If you can hit the share down there, little computer plus sign. If that doesn't work, all good. You might need to drop and join back in. But while that's happening, I saw a session from Nikunj and I think Tori talking about Adobe.com in the agentic age, and I was kind of interested to see Slicky show up in that. They were like, yeah, here's how we do things, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing like the Slick interface, and I'm like, huh, well that's pretty clever and interesting, but yeah. Anyways, if you want to see
my screen or
let me. You might be sharing, and I'm just not there. You go.
Yes,
I was slow. Apologies.
No problem. So I mean, yeah, this was our lab, and as I said, I mean, mostly It was focused for the migration to anything. As David mentioned, we had this weekend adventure demo site built, which is from us, but it was trying to be, expressive enough to be sort of a real world use case, right? And so during the lab, we first showed that you can. We started out with already migrated page, the first one, and showed that you can use the agent to correct certain errors in it, and that you can update the design a little bit. You can also update it from Figma, similar to what you can do with the production agent, so to speak. So that was the first part of the lab. And we went through with the participants, and that all happens on AEM Coder. If you go to AEM Coder Adobe I/O right now, you will not see the screen, likely, because we do have to provision you. So unless you have been there for the first time, the second time, and for the first time, you will just get a welcome screen. But you can sign up, and then we will provision you real quickly if that fits into the plan, right? So this is available to people, and it's our agent to help you migrate pages to EDS. And so this is what we use throughout the lab to migrate and work with those pages. But then, as I said, we partially because of the Lord, but also because it is very helpful. We had a surprise appearance of Slicky, and that's coming back to what Chris was saying, right? I mean, we nowadays mostly work with skills. So all of AEM Coder, for the most part, is skills that does the actual migration. We had David with us, our resilient skill expert, to explain how they work in detail. But we could easily port them to Slick, and Slick is this new and exciting AI agent that runs in a browser, and we will hear more about it. But for this event, we had it prepared first of all, we had a landing page for it for the migration. So move any website to AEM. It's still up there. It's slicky.com. Automate your website migration. And just to get started, you can find a Chrome extension. You can also find it by just going to Move AEM Now, which is a redirect to Slick in the App Store. And then you can just install it to try it out. So you just say add to Chrome, and then it's going to add you here, and you get Slick from the website already, and that's available today. Well, maybe I can show it if I do know it's now installed. So once you start it, you have to fill in some details, but the main point is you have to also sign in. And there's an Adobe provider that you can use to sign in for the time of Summit. You can just sign it up. So if you want to try it out, you can. And we have a little demo video on the Move thing here too, from what people were doing in the lab. And they basically, if you come in, you can say, I want to migrate a page. And then it does some setup and allows you to select the current tab that you're in and start, basically hit migrate this page, and then it will start to migrate the page that you're in. And that is actually what people were doing in the lab. This here will be speeded up quite a bit, or a little bit. Took between 5 and 9 minutes, depending on the participant. But we, especially in the first lab, we had pretty much everybody doing it. So 92 people in parallel were doing this migration during the lab. And it's speeded up here a bit. So hopefully, if I can fast forward just a little bit, you will see that, so after 8 minutes, 9 minutes, you should have the resulting migrated page here. So this was original, and no, this is already the migrated page. So basically, it runs through 8 minutes. You can go there today, download the extension, try it out for yourself on your own page if you want to. or on the example page that we still have up.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Carl. That was great. Yeah, it's interesting as you were kind of going through this, and Chris had mentioned this earlier about the sneak last year that Paolo did. And again, Paolo was on stage doing another sneak, Page Turner. And that one, I guess this year is the first year that they've made all the sneaks available for people to play with. So I think moving from kind of like what we're doing, I think a lot in AEM, which is with the AEM Now and with the other areas where we're making things available kind of early, Sneaks has gone on that direction as well, where you can go and play around with the technology early. Okay, so I have a couple of other comments, and then we can kind of do a closing round. There were a couple of other, what was it? It was this one, developer innovations. This was Bertrand and Brian did a great session on developer innovations in the agentic era that focuses on, we're all about edge delivery. There's I think 20, 25, 30% of edge delivery in this session. A bulk of it was people who are on earlier versions of, actually all versions, how you can use skills against all versions. They showed how you can take a Figma design, create a content fragment, and then throw that into your AEM managed services or cloud service, and super cool. So definitely check that session out. I think there was a lot of really interesting stuff in that. This was the one, Adobe.com in the agentic world, where I saw Slicky kind of show itself for a moment on building components for Adobe.com, which was definitely fun to see. I think our friend Martin Birgi might have had a hand in that. Yeah, and then you've got the innovations in the AI era. So this is a session that Cedric and Haresh always do, and talks kind of broadly about where AEM is headed, and gives some not tutorials, but some demos of LLM Optimizer, Sites Optimizer, and we had the LLM Optimizer team on previously on Frequency, so you can go and check out that recording to get kind of a deep dive into LLM Optimizer. And they also had a lab as well that was quite heavily attended. So all good stuff. Okay, so that was my spiel. Anything else that anyone wants to mention before we close? I don't have anything else to cover.
Well, for me, obviously, the great thing about Summit too is to talk with customers. So that was again very exciting and super cool. I mean, especially in this incarnation, because migration obviously is a topic that is kind of cross-cutting in a lot of ways. So there was lots of interesting discussions and meetings going on. So I really enjoyed those.
I think on that note, Carl, I mean, throughout the last 2-3 years, we've been talking to a lot of customers and about the greatness of edge delivery services, and it has been ups and downs in all those conversations, and yet another migration, and this is going to be a nightmare, right? But then whether it's at Summit or here in Basel, customer meetings and so on, the moment you show all the latest innovation with edge delivery and you show them that actually you can migrate, and sometimes they're even skeptical, right? Like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I had a customer in Basel visiting. They're like, oh yeah, but this won't work for our website. I say, well, let's take the bet. And 45 minutes later, at the end of the session, we had the homepage migrated. And then it's like, oh, now we are talking, right? So I think this really, again, really cool work that the team has done. And really looking forward to how much usage this will have and how much more customers will be able to bring to edge delivery. But I think this round here, attendees, they're probably all sold already. If not, you know what to do. Move.am.now.
That's great. Raf had a question on when do you use Slicky versus AEM Coder?
Well, for this one, it was really just that we said as we use the aem coder skills on Slicky, right? So to show that it is skill based and it works, and it's nice because again, right now you can try it. It's not a problem for us, right? It's meant as for now as that, right? It's a PLG motion so that people can see that they can do their page real quickly. For the real big site migration, then come to aem coder and continue the work. That is at least for now the plan.
Yeah, and Lars, right before I showed it, I realized that Lars had replied. So
yeah, no, right. So the funny thing is that between Slicky and aem coder, in most likely case, you're going to use the same model behind the scenes, right? It's going to be Claude, either Sonnet or Opus, and you're using exactly the same skills. So the main difference is where are you running this, right? Are you running this like a normal person on the server side, or are you doing the slightly crazy approach of saying, no, I can run a web server inside my browser tab, and not just a web server, but a full migration. And if this is your kind of game that you like to play, then Slicky is definitely interesting. I'm going to be very careful not to recommend it because this is clearly experimental stuff. So so if you like experimental stuff, try it out. We are very confident that it cannot break your computer, but it might break your browser. So if it's doing something dangerous, just close the tab and Slicky is gone, and you don't have to think about it.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So yeah, any closing comments before we? There's more questions. So.
Well, if there are no more questions, then I have a question for Dominic, which is, when exactly are we going to talk again, and what's the topic going to be?
Yeah, I think we mentioned it already, and Carl will be there, and I hope all the others as well. So it will be on the 7th of May, and we have a nice picture on aem.live. I will put in the link. So yeah, please join us. It's already next week.
That's next week, yeah.
Yeah.
It's next week. Oh yeah, it's coming fast.
We're
Lars, you have to be here because you're
we're doubling up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Here is the link. If you look for upcoming events, you always have it here. Very easy, so you know it. But next week, we exchange. Lars will be the guest.
Yeah.
And Ron and I will be the host.
And the topic is Slicky.
That's right.
Yeah.
all day Slicky. Okay, good.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. Hey, and then Darren, next year, 11th year, like, are you looking forward to doing it, yet again next year?
I'm not thinking about it for a couple months, but the engine that powers this starts up probably in the middle of the summer and then starts grinding out again. So we'll see. So I turn off for a few months.
I think AM Rockstar going to 11 is very much on brand.
Yes, that is perfect. I hadn't thought of that. Thanks, Lars. Okay, I can't imagine what the shirts are going to look like, but yes, I love it. It goes to 11. Okay, thank you. Yep. So there we go. Thanks everyone for showing up and joining us for this recap takeaways session. And thank you to all the folks that joined today on screen as well. So thank you for spending the time.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Lars.
Thank you all. Thanks.
Thank you all. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.